I have seen 2 UFOs in my life, both very visible and close to me. The first one I saw when I was 3 to 4 years old. I was walking down the street with my mom and sister. My sister in a stroller. It was a beautiful summer day, very bright sky. At one point I was looking down at the ground in front of me as we were walking along, and all of a sudden a long black shadow was cast in front of me. I was confused and thought maybe a cloud had appeared above us. So I looked up, and maybe about a mile above in the sky was black, dark grayish-colored rectangular-shaped craft floating in the middle of the sky. Not directly above us, but a little bit up ahead. It was very visible to me though, as it was not that far away. And it was massive. A term I've seen online recently to describe some massive UFOs was football field size, and I would say that's accurate to what I had seen that day. I watched this object sit there in the sky for about 10 seconds, and after that period of time it disappeared instantly, as if it were a bubble that got popped. The space where it resided in the sky was now empty, and so I looked down to the ground in front of me, and the shadow was gone as I suspected it would be. I then looked directly next to me at my mother to see any signs of confusion or intrigue. But I instinctively knew that she didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I think at the time, even being so young, I knew I had seen something that she couldn't see at the time for whatever reason. I asked her about this specific day a few years ago over the phone. And she confirmed to me that it did take place after I gave her some details about where we were walking from our ages, and that it was in the middle of the summer. I then told her about the UFO I saw as we were walking home, and she didn't know what to say really. But it seems to me she didn't see anything. There's a possibility she did and didn't want to tell me. But like I said, in my memory, she didn't have any signs of seeing it on her face, so for some reason I think it was just me that saw it. That's the first UFO I saw. I just wanted to post this as I'm sure of you might find it interesting. I can post the story of the second one I saw years later when I was 14 years old. It was also very close to me in proximity, so I can give a good description of that one as well. Second sighting. Okay, since people are actually engaging in my post, I'll recount my second UFO sighting when I was older and not basically a toddler lol. I might write this one as well or go super in depth as it's getting late here. I was getting ready for bed on a school night when I was in junior high. And I was living in an apartment building on the second floor. In my bedroom I had a large window, as it was a little extra room off the side of the living room with its own set of doors. In the middle of getting ready for bed, winding down for the night, I went out of my room to go to bathroom, get a drink of water or something. And when I came back I closed my doors, and then in the corner of my eye I noticed a light. And looked outside and across the parking lot of my building where another apartment building stood not far from me. I saw a UFO about the size of a large-sized bedroom floating about 5 feet above the apartment nearest to me at the very top floor. I think these buildings were only about 6 stories high in total, so they were not super tall buildings. The UFO was hovering but completely still, and it had super bright light panels alongside the exterior of it. With little rectangular-shaped space in the middle, I assume a door? One side of light panel was solid red and the other side was solid blue. So left blue and right red, or vice versa, I can't remember. They were not pulsing on, flashing on and off or anything, just on at like full brightness, not discrete at all. It was a nice night, no wind and no clouds. This was in late September, something like that. I had my window open at the time 'cause I liked the fresh air. And I heard no sound from the craft at all. Like I said, it was hovering about 5 feet above the apartment building. And I believe from where I was it looked to be about 5 feet or so tall as well, and if it were daylight outside, I'm guessing I would see it was circular in shape, but at night the panels I saw on it suggested the circular shape by the way they were curved. The lights were so bright that they obscured the rest of the interior to me though. I saw this thing there after coming back to my room and was in disbelief, a little confused at first but then realized it was a UFO. I watched it as it hovered completely still for about 5 minutes. I probably didn't blink 'cause I just wanted to see what it was going to do. Then after that period of time I watched it very slowly, almost methodically move in a graceful paced glide to the right. At the same speed the whole way through till it was no longer above the building. And then it went down to the right diagonally till it was out of view as some trees the end of my window obscured it from my view. I then ran down the hallway to my mom's bedroom, which was in its direction, and looked out her window, but it was no longer anywhere to be seen. She was working a night shift at the time, so she wasn't in her room. That's the story of that one in a nutshell. This sighting was in the year of either 2006 or 2007. For years after, periodically I would check for any other sightings with the same description of this craft. And I did find a nice amateur video of what I believe to be the same object. It looks very far away in that video. I wish I had a picture of the one I saw or video, 'cause it was super close. It probably would have had some nice detail. Disclaimer: I've never had a history of seeing things that weren't there or having any imaginary friends or anything like that. Also, I have a very good memory, and that might extend as far back to 2 years old, of course very limited in those years as to what I actually remember. But this particular memory was very strong to me over the years, of course, because of how bizarre and almost unnatural it was. Because of these 2 sightings I have full belief in the UFO phenomenon. The topic excites me a lot and I feel very lucky to have seen them, so I wanted to share. Post from user Dark Crystal Action at Reddit.